Hello, my name is Jachnow. I am from the IHS, and today I will talk to you about the just city from a complexity theory and perspective. Urban areas are per se the genuine expression of human interactions in space. They are dominated by artificial constructions serving the specific needs of different people and are a manifestation of the kind of governance and interactions that society pursues and engages in within a specific urban area. For that reason, cities are also very different from each other. In addition to the city being embedded in a broader economic, geographic and ecological context within a specific climate, there are social norms and cultural features that establish the layout and also the morphology of our socio-spatial environment. So the interplay of all these different features establishes a complexity of values which are interlinked and hardly separable from each other, creating in their totality the unique quality of every human settlement. Cities, as they are developed by citizens over time, are consequently a place of opportunities and limitations for each individual regarding her or his specific place both in space as well as in society. To explain spatial justice, we hence need to consider what kind of complexities create cities, or, in other words, what kind of complex systems cities are. Despite that the elements within a city are relatively few, there are nearly endless possibilities to interrelate and combine these. The basic elements of urban areas are people, the spaces they create, such as the artificially built environment, and the environment that surrounds them, the natural environment. Moreover, cities are highly complex systems because they are open systems. This means that externalities can impact on urban space and influence the equilibrium within the city. A typical example for such external impacts on the built environment is the transitions caused by changing values or new technologies. For example, if the whole city is built with traditional adobe and wood constructions, the houses will be considered for the good qualities they have, for example in terms of commodity, climate appropriateness, etc. But the moment other materials are introduced, which for example would allow for building higher buildings with more stories or glass facades, the original houses might lose in terms of perceived values and might be considered of bad value. Similarly, the question of location within the city can be influenced by such internal and external factors. For example, the accessibility, the level of pollution, the quality of the neighborhood, if it is a good area or considered as a poor area, etc. So these conditions are dependent on how and where people interact in which ways with their physical environment. People, in this way, are exposed to the conditions that they themselves or others have created. This directly relates to the question of justice. Justice can be attributed to different aspects, often mainly understood in its legal or ethical connotations. It has also been defined as a social and even as a spatial condition. When we look at cities, we need to consider the aspects of these spatial justices. In simple terms, the notion of spatial justice is a concept of social justice with geographic relevance. Soja explains that spatial justice is not a substitute to other forms of justice, but a concept that focuses on the critical spatial perspective of justice. For this author, justice always has a spatial dimension, and geographically uneven development will always happen, since neither social processes nor the spaces they create are uniform, and therefore spatial inequalities and injustice will be present. Spatial justice, therefore, is a concept based on the notion of social justice. Spatial injustices can be related to socioeconomic conditions, but it is also an issue of gender, ethnicity, age, or locally specified feature that can lead to exclusion or inclusion, such as religion or political affiliation. So, what does space do to people? If we think of housing, location can be perpetuating poverty. Being born into the wrong neighborhood, your chances for social mobility will diminish just because of that location. We at IHS have done extensive research on spatial justice in urban settings in Uganda and Somaliland, where we investigated the complexity of land markets, or in more general terms, the impact of access to land in the shaping of urban space. We verified in our research that spatial constellations are an expression of the dynamic transitions in society over time. These transitions contribute to a spatial imbalance of development that is embedded in as well as establishing social inequality. Looking at justice from a procedural point of view, the circle of complex landmarkers shows possible entry points for stakeholders approaching the market from outside. Their motivations might vary, ranging from survival to speculations. However, they all have different means of engagement, which already indicates their level of influence or power within the market. The third layer shows the different claims the stakeholders have to their engagement. The following three circles, with the inner one being space, are all location dependent. Here, the aspect of localization is determined by the outer circles. Those stakeholders with the stronger means and claims will be more effectively reach the good urban areas with the well-furnished locations. The circle therefore can be interpreted as a filter where inequality is created through limiting the access of certain groups to the existing market offers. In summary, spatial justice cannot be measured in the same way for different stakeholders, as their conditions and interests are diverse. However, the dynamics of urban development, where the incompleteness of certain features makes some urban areas more challenging than others, establish injustices which are not equally shared among the stakeholders. This poses a complexity of the urban system to the question of justice that can be only addressed locally and during a limited period of time.